Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Your Mess. I am your host, Tracey D. Armstrong, and we're back again with another amazing episode. We have our amazing couple, Jeffery and Youlanda Britten, coming back to us to give us some more info and details about their mess and how they overcame it in their marriage and in their 34, almost 34 years of marriage.
34.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be quiet and turn it back over to them so they can continue letting us know what's another mess that they have gone through and how they came out of their mess.
Amen. Well, let's disappoint the people. Because, as a couple, we really haven't gone through a whole lot of mess. I don't know if it's because of how we communicate with each other. We have had some disagreement. But we learned at an early stage in this journey to have a meeting place.
Oh, yeah.
Where we can talk out our disagreement so that it's not something that lingers and grows and turns into something major. Because, if you don't deal with the little things, they'll keep nagging and nagging, and all of a sudden stuff starts piling up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we agreed to deal with it when we first recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
And our meeting place was at the dinner table.
Correct.
So if either one of us had an issue or something that we felt like needed to be addressed, we would say, let's meet at the dinner table.
Even with the kids.
Even with our children. We were teaching them certain things and we felt like they were getting out of hand. Everybody knew. Once we came to the table,
it was serious.
It was a serious event. And we would talk it out. And everybody would be free to express their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions. We would listen. May or may not agree.
Sure.
So we just kept doing that, and that has kept us out of a lot of sticky situations. Because we have decided to make this a point of communication where everything was on the table. Nothing would be held against one another. It was just each of us expressing how we felt. And sometimes we will say something and the other person may take it a different way. So that might be an opportunity to explain, well, that's not what I meant.
Right.
This is the path that I was leaning toward. This is my train of thought at that time when I made that statement. Mm-hmm. So once we say what we had to say and we get clarity, life gets smoother.
Mm-hmm. So like you say, y'all meet at the dinner table. Can y'all share an example of a time when y'all have had to meet at the dinner table?
One thing may be dealing with finances.
Okay.
If she felt like, man, you blowing a lot of money. You spending money on things we don't really need. But being a man of the house, once I saw something needed to be done,
you would just do it.
I would just do it, get it done.
And mentally, how did that make you feel?
Because I figured I could wait and get it on sale. I could wait and get it on a discount. I mean, it wasn't like it was major, right now we gotta have it. Mm-hmm. But in his eyes, it was, let's get it done. Mm-hmm. He became the fixer. And I was like, so I got to a point that, I'm not telling Jeff that because he just gonna run take care of it. I'll look and see and scour the internet or different websites, and I'm gonna get it at a discounted rate. Mm-hmm. And so early on, we talked about it, and I would always say I was a producer and he was a consumer. A producer is somebody that gets something and holds on to it. Mm-hmm. A consumer is you get it and you use it. Mm-hmm. And that was Jeff. He was always, we'll get more. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was definitely early on. And still sometimes now he'll get something and I'll be like,
even though we making our own money, we was at a stage where we needed each other to make this journey work. It wasn't all because I'm a man, I'm taking care of everything. No, we didn't have that mindset. I had a certain set of bills I would take care of. She had a certain set of bills she would take care of. And if I saw a need outside of those bills that I took care of, so by the time the bill came up due, I was short. And she'd be like, what you do with your money? So you're like, hey, I just took care of this issue that wasn't in the plan. So we had to go through that stage for a while of where the money was going. If I was spending, in her head, I'm just spending to be spending. But in my head, I'm spending to take care of issues so that it won't become a bigger issue. Or if I saw something, I'm like, man, that would be nice if we had a patio.
Not like he said a patio, a whole patio. Okay. So mindsets were different. So like you go out and you had a thought, okay, we need a patio. It would be nice if we had a patio.
Right.
That's your mindset.
Right.
And then your mindset is
we don't need another room. We are fine. We don't need another extra space. We don't have to have it. And
because it was more than just a covered patio. I ended up closing it in with windows, putting in the air conditioning, and covering up the roof and insulating the walls. Maybe I went a little further than she was expecting.
Yeah. It started off being a screened-in patio. Well, first it was just a covered patio. And then he said, hey, let's put some screen up. I said, we don't need to do that. That's going to only draw more people. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'll just do screens. And then he found a window that we just had. I don't know where the window came from, but he had a window and he was like, oh, I'm going to put this window in. One window turned to two windows. Then he called me one day and he was like, hey, they got windows on sale. I was like, oh, we okay? We don't need windows. And he showed up. So now there's a total of 10 windows on the patio. So it's no longer a screened-in patio, it's a sunroom.
Our added room.
Yeah.
okay. So let's pause there.
Yes.
Because in a marriage or in a relationship, if your mindset, your mentality about spending is different, which causes the emotion to be, you have the emotion of, hey, it's something that I saw, that's what I wanted, and your emotion was like, we don't need this. So how did y'all handle those differences? So did you just sit back and say, okay, just do your patio? Like, how did y'all work through that? Because obviously there was a disconnect in desires.
Right. So that's when I was spending the finances that I was bringing in. So when it comes down time to pay a bill, I might be a little short because I took the money that I probably should have paid on bills and did an extra project. So now it got done. She didn't always like it because now she had to take her money to cover my end. So she did it, but maybe with some regret, not really wanting to, so to speak.
I wouldn't say regret. I would say
hesitation.
Like, hey, why you put us in this position? We did not need a closed-in 10-window carpeted paneling on the wall room. But we have it. We have it.
And we got through that phase. But the thing that used to trouble us was it was no fault of either one of us.
Correct. No,
but it's like at a certain part of the year, it was like finances would just go crazy. We would never have enough money to cover our bill. We didn't have to buy nothing extra. We didn't have to do anything out of the norm. It's just that the money was always short. We hadn't done nothing different all year long. Things were running smooth. Come to the end part of the year, the last 3 months of the year, it's like just I don't know, the spirit hit our money at that time, and nothing was enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like the first of the year will come around for that next year, everything will go back fine. So that was finances. We could never understand why that would happen. It wouldn't just be my account; it would be both of our accounts.
Mm-hmm.
It would just a shortage would just show up.
And so let me make sure I'm clear. So you all have two separate accounts?
Yes.
Actually,
Well,
we have,
then
Yeah.
yeah.
well, we've
No.
always had one account together.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's the household account.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had his account and I had an account.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had an account because all my direct deposits went into one account.
Mm-hmm.
He had an account so that he can go and do his tools. Like he would go buy tools. It's like, we have a wrench. Yeah, but this is a different kind of wrench.
She don't understand.
Or we have this screwdriver. Yeah, but this is a different kind of screwdriver. I didn't understand. A screwdriver is a screwdriver. To me, you could take a knife and screw. But then you have star screwdrivers, and oh man, it's just the list goes on the tools
Mm-hmm.
that he needed. So his account took care of whatever it was, and I didn't have to see it, and so it just worked. It doesn't work for everybody. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't have two accounts." It works for us.
Mm-hmm.
It works for us because if we look and see where the account that we share together is going to be short, then if it's his week and he's getting paid, he'll add to it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's my week and I'm getting paid, I'll add to it. So we always keep that account at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then our money is our money. Now, mind you, when we talk about running into financial deficit
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the year, nothing never got cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever. It was just like, why don't we have extra?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, what is the problem? I remember having nightmares for years towards the end of the year, like, oh, they coming to take my house.
Mm-hmm.
But we never missed a house note.
Mm-hmm.
It was just things were tight.
Mm-hmm.
Things were tight. And so
how many years do y'all think that happened?
Several. Yeah. I don't even know. It was just a season that we was in, and it would just always happen. We didn't have to do nothing out of the norm. It was just coming. You knew that season was coming. It just happened.
and it was so crazy because it's like we started expecting it. September.
Mm-hmm.
So October, November, December.
The last quarter of the year.
Yes. It was
like
just
clockwork.
we couldn't understand what was going on. But
so what did y'all do to turn that around? Because I know that finances are like one of the number one reasons why relationships don't work and things like that.
We didn't point the finger at one another. We didn't say, oh, this because of you, this because of what you did earlier. We didn't do that. We just grinded it out together.
Mm-hmm.
It's always supported one another. So it wasn't like a finger pointing, like you the reason why we in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Or because of something you wanted, now we falling short on this end.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't ever do that.
I can tell you during the good months, I started paying more on the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we eventually got the house paid off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had that 30-year mortgage that we probably finished it in 20, maybe. We just started, if we had extra money, I started applying it to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we were able to pay the house off,
Mm-hmm.
then
Freed up money.
it freed up that quarterly in the 4 quarter deficits.
Mm-hmm.
or struggle or challenge, or I really don't know what it was. And then once we got rid of a house note, we were able to just have those funds and use it in other areas.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So, okay, quick question. You said, so who, you pay some of the bills and you pay some of the bills. How did y'all decide on that?
It's flip-flop.
So because, okay, and I'm asking this because, some people say, well, as the man of the house, the man should pay all bills. And I'm like, I know that that's not the case. Sometimes so how did y'all come with the agreement?
Because with the amount of money that I was bringing in, I knew I could only cover so much of the income.
And we sat down and talked about it.
Right. So we agreed she would pay certain bills, then I would pay certain bills.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got a little tight at times for me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to pay the house note for this. I need you to take over the house note. Then I probably would hopefully take on something else.
Smaller.
Yeah.
So how did you, okay, and y'all are communicating this, but I know like there's men out there that would not do that. Like men would be like, okay, I have to be the one to take care of these things. How did you mentally and emotionally not feel a certain way because she's paying the house note?
The majority of the bills, we still in this together. We still one. So it's not really about who pays for what, it's about getting it done. And if we can agree to get it done, life becomes a little smoother. Even though the female may take on a little more heavier weight at times, but it's gonna roll back. The guy's gonna pick it back up. He might be just going through a period where things might be a little slow, a little tight. So she's there to pick it up. That's his helpmate. So once you understand that we in this together, maybe we can do whatever we want to do.
So, and then how did you mentally and emotionally feel when it came to that? Because like I hear you saying, hey, we're in it together, let's get it done. But then were you ever feeling a certain way about that because you were having to take on the heavier load?
It all came out in the wash as far as I see it. Whatever happened, okay, if this is what I need to pay, just tell me this is what I need to pay and I'll adjust. And so that's what I did. I just made adjustments. One of the things that I remember an adjustment was we had planned on doing Hawaii as a vacation. And we didn't do Hawaii because the funds wasn't there. Was I disappointed? Yeah, because I had been talking about Hawaii for like 2 or 3 years. So we're gonna do Hawaii, we're gonna do Hawaii. And it didn't manifest. So it was, okay, regroup. I could have literally went off and, just readjust. Things happen, make the change. Made a change, and to be honest with you, we still haven't went to Hawaii 33 years later. Gonna be 34. But we've been to Jamaica several times. We've traveled.
I can tell he over there already planned in Hawaii. Look at his face. He's like, now that she said this, I'm gonna make it happen. He's like, oh, we can make Hawaii happen. Happy anniversary. Hawaii.
But as far as when we first got married, he was living in an apartment, and I literally hadn't ever lived in an apartment. And it was really difficult to have people walking over my head, and the person behind us played their radio all day, and it was just too hard. And so we decided that we would get our own house. And one of the things was, regardless to what happened, I don't ever want to turn the water on and it doesn't come on. I don't ever want to turn the lights on and they don't work. I want no foreclosure signs in my yard. Other than that, I'm good.
You said, as long as nothing got turned off, you're good.
Yes.
And as long as everything is working together for both of you all to be successful. Y'all's finances
Right.
were like always ended up coming back.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So was there a certain point in time where your finances just like completely like turned around? So you said like you paid the bills or like the house, so you got the house note paid off. And then you had extra finances and things like that to take care of other things. So where would you say y'all's finances are now?
Girl, let me tell you. So we paid off a house,
Mhm,
we paid off a car, we
mhm.
paid off a truck. And I'm thinking, oh, we are set. So let's roll forward to this year. Well, in 2023. So in 2023, I drive up to the house and my husband standing in the street,
Okay.
dancing, just having his stuff a ball. And you know how you just do stuff automatically? I pull past the driveway, put my car in reverse, and get ready to reverse into my spot in the driveway. And there is a car in my spot. And I'm like, who in the world parked in my spot? So I pulled back out the driveway and I was like, hey, dude, who in my space? And he said, oh, that's our new baby. I said, who had a baby? Well, where would we get a baby from?
Mm.
My husband decided that he wanted or needed a new car that had a note.
And he did
And
this
so-
without asking.
Ooh,
So how does that work?
Surprise, surprise.
But like that's a big expense, right?
Yeah, it is.
So how do you so like with relationships,
Well, at this point, money is, to me, it's not an issue. We paid off everything. We really didn't have nothing. I had credit cards, but most of everything else was paid off. And instead of constantly saving this money, I went out and bought another vehicle.
Mhm,
Not because of a need. Sometimes you just want stuff.
mhm.
And I went and got what I wanted.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
like, oh my God, who's paying this? Who's paying for it? And he's like, oh, I got it. I'm like, you sure? So I don't have to worry about a note. You got this. He was like, oh yeah. At this time, he's making overtime. It's fine. My
Yeah.
money's gonna still be my money, and he's gonna take that, and it's gonna be his. And I was like, oh, okay, get it out of my spot.
Oh. So that was you
That
made a
was
decision.
April Fool's Day of 2023.
But what would y'all's suggestions be with relationships? Would you suggest making big purchases like that or would you say like communicate?
Not if you don't have the means to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because at this time, our income is good. We now own rental properties, so we have extra money coming in.
Mhm.
Everything is paid off. So I'm thinking, hey, this shouldn't be a stressor
Mhm.
because I have this money coming in and I'm making more money than I ever made.
Mhm.
I'm in a good space in my life.
Mhm.
We doing good, eating good, and might be around good.
Okay.
So,
now,
and that was part of my dream from the beginning.
Okay.
Because when I say from the beginning, I think back to when we were sitting in our backyard one night and we was writing down our plans for our life, what we wanted in our house, what type of vehicles we wanted to ride in. And so we got the house, we didn't add it on several times to the house. The house is almost double than what it was when we originally bought it.
Uh-huh.
We just hadn't bought the luxury vehicle. We always bought vehicles, but we hadn't bought the luxury vehicles. And that was on our original list. So I feel like we was in a good spot.
put a pin right there. Put a pin right there. So one day I get a call from this guy and he said, hey, I want you to come and pick up your car. I said, I'm so sorry, I don't own a car, I have a truck. Click. And he called right back. He was like, excuse me, but you have a husband named Jeffrey? I was like, oh my God.
Mm.
I was like, yes, I have a husband named Jeffrey. He was like, yeah. He told me he would get this car if I could get you to come pick it up. I need you to be here by 6 o'clock. I said, oh, well, we won't be getting that because I don't get off until 6:30. Well, can you be here by 6:30, 7 o'clock? I'm not sure. I'm really don't need a car, so I'm okay. He was like, oh, Miss Brittens, it's so nice. You really come, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna wait for you. And if you just come, I said, look, I gotta find somebody to bring me there because if I drive a vehicle, I can't drive another vehicle away. Why? Did he get rid of the truck? Oh no, he didn't trade anything in. I'm like, okay. So to make a long story short, I got there by 8, a little after 8. And the guy takes me to this car. And I'm like, this cannot be my car. He was like, why? I said, because it's not even a color that I like. I want a blue color. And he was like, oh, Miss Brittens, this car don't come in blue. It's like, what in the world? Why would my husband do this? Why would my husband see this car and think I want it? He never saw the car. He called on the phone and ordered the car for my birthday.
Yeah, me.
So he wanted to surprise you with the car for your birthday.
Yeah.
And so he was so
Yeah. So anyway,
so mentally, you're thinking no.
I can see that was
So every time it pretty much boils down to who's gonna pay for it. I'm sorry, you said.
oh, is it gonna come out of my own?
But is that your first thought whenever he's making those decisions?
Oh yeah. Yes, ma'am. It definitely is.
So he surprised you for your birthday with a car.
That was the second or the third car that he had surprised me with. One other time he told me to pick him up from an address. And when I got to the address, it was a dealership. And they were driving this car off the showroom floor. And I'm like, he just standing there smiling and cheesing. And I'm like, what in the world?
So emotionally, that makes you happy.
Yes.
It makes you happy to be able to buy stuff for her.
Yes.
And for you, that makes you concerned. Any concern about how it's going to be taken care of for the rest of the future.
Yes. Yes. That's one of my main concerns is how are we gonna pay for this? How is this going to be paid for? That's my thing. We've never had a car repossessed. We've had vans and we've had, so yeah, it's.
So for our listeners and our audience out there, this is the question. Because finances are a lot of times a struggle for people. Especially when you're putting people with two different types of mindsets about finances together. You said
correct, because
consumer,
when he sees
producer,
something, he wants it, he's gonna get it. When I see something I want it, I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale.
But will you eventually get it? Possibly. Or maybe not.
Sometimes.
And then you probably might get something and you don't ask because you know that she might say no.
So that means it's on me to take care of it.
So what would you tell the audience who may have these types of situations when it comes to finances and communicating? Because that sounds like that was important. You did something, she didn't necessarily like it, but like you said, you responded a certain way.
Like, who's paying for this? If you have the finances in place, now that's not something we could have done early on. Maybe the first 2 or 3 years were good. Probably by the 5th year, that's when we started realizing, oh, wait a minute, towards every quarter, things starts looking shady. So if you have the finances, and my thing is, okay, I have the finances right now, but what is it going to look like up the road? His thing is, we got the finances right now, let's make it happen, and we'll take care of the finances up the road.
Right.
And it's like,
Really,
I've
so we have
learned to say, okay, that's obviously something that Jeff wanted. Is it going to cause hardship in the house? Is it going to be a hardship? Most of the time, not. I would say 95% of the time, it's not going to be a hardship. I just like seeing my money grow, my numbers grow. Whereas if now I've taken a decrease because Jeff went out and bought this car, but is anything lacking? No. I mean, so if your finances, what I would tell somebody is, if your finances is not in place, don't go out and buy something. I don't even care if it is on sale. If it's on sale and you still can't afford it, don't get it. Don't struggle. When you struggle, you make it hard on the house. Because mind you, we still had kids that we had to take care of. This car that he just bought, you know, we've gotten our son through college and everybody's doing good, but yeah, my main concern was not losing anything, not having anything turned off, having some money set aside. And you can't say I'm saving for a rainy day because you don't know how long it's going to rain. So you can't say, oh, I'm comfortable if we have $500, or oh, I'm comfortable if we have $2,000, because you don't know what's going to happen. When I came out of the hospital, I had over $1 million bill. And so you have to, with finances, it takes lots of communication. And so, like I said, whatever Jeff gets, whatever Jeff does, we sit down and we say, okay, so now what's the plan for paying for this? What's the plan for it? And should it be at the beginning before we got it? Most of the time I would say, oh, well, now we don't need to get that. We don't need, my mind is locked down like, oh no, we don't need to. But once he get it and he come in and say, now look, Londa, we can do this, 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 and work.
So do you be coming up with a plan like, so, because you know she's gonna ask, what's the plan?
Or I have a basic idea that's the amount of money that we have coming in. So I don't see making this purchase gonna affect the finances in such a way that
it's gonna derail the house.
It's gonna derail the house. So even if something else came up, even at this stage, we good. So paying the note on the car never was an issue.
I never said it was an issue. I said that was money we could have still been stacking.
So, but you're stacking money, right? For to do what? He's like, what? They stacking go buy stuff. But because you have it now.
Right.
But when you didn't have it,
right,
you didn't
purchase something this
large of a okay.
We would get stuff, but it wouldn't be on this level. A new car to me is a new car. So it didn't matter. I'm trying to think. Have I ever had a used car coming from Jeff? No. I've always got a brand new car. And it's like, it don't have to be brand new.
If there's for people out there that's like, oh my gosh, are you complaining that there's a brand new car?
Yeah.
What's wrong with this Negro?
Yeah, because it didn't, at that point, I didn't feel like we needed it. So yeah, if Jeff came to me and said, Youlanda, I want to go and look for this car. This is the car that I want. I would have definitely tried to come up with reasons
to talk him
out of it.
Okay.
And he knows that. And so therefore,
he just does it.
He just does it. And then he'll come in and he'll say, okay, so look, I'm making this.
Okay.
We're covering this. So now I have this extra. I'm gonna take that and put it towards this.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, nothing is coming out of the main account.
Mhm.
It's just he's handling it.
Mhm.
So
So for those that are out there that have those same types of relationships, where one or the other is more spontaneous to purchase,
Good word.
what what would you say so that the relationship can still make it and the marriage doesn't fall apart because of a difference in financial perspective?
I say, know where you are financially. If you're not putting your family in an issue or situation that's going to cause lack in the house, if you see through your planning, we can do this, and if it's in your heart to get it done, for me, I say do it. But if you struggling or things tight already, this might not be the season to go out and to make a purchase.
Mhm.
But if things then leveled out and you see extra, and you know making this purchase not gonna take away from your responsibilities,
Mhm.
we can do it.
Okay. You said if they have the finances, then have a plan in place.
Right.
How you gonna take care of things? What would your final words be to our married couples out there, or people in relationships, or even if you're looking to get married or to be in a relationship? What would you suggest? Final word.
You wanna go? Let me go.
you go.
Always be able to communicate. Set a space in your house where this is our meeting, not in our bedroom, but in a separate place where we can come and just sit and talk with whatever issues or concerns we may have. Everything may not be drastic, but even if you see something that we may have, one party may have spoken and the other party may not have taken the way you intended it, so you can come to that space and talk it over and get clarity. And finances, you know where you are. You know what you can do. Don't overextend yourself. Work within your means.
Yes.
Now, if you have the resources or the availability to splurge a little, to go out and do a little extra, surprise your mate or your partner. Do something nice for them. But at the same time, know that your main focus is to take care of the home, to provide for the family. And once you take care of that, everything else will just fall in place. Even in these purchases that I may have did along the way, we always made it work. She always enjoyed whatever the purchase was. She may not have liked it in the beginning, but she always enjoyed what was given. And nothing has ever been foreclosed on or repossessed.
True.
And we find nice stuff now.
And so I would say, especially to married couples, we tend to make things little issues, major issues. Life or death matters. And it's not that serious. It's okay. It's okay that Jeff went out and purchased a vehicle of his choice. Because I didn't have a choice. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other what the car is or what this is or what that is. It's not a life or death situation. Enjoy life. Enjoy your mate. I mean, this is my friend. So when my friend mess up, what? I don't talk about him or down him. We get together, we try to communicate and get a plan. And then there are times when we have to agree to disagree. We just have to disagree because I'm like, Jeff, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. So we'll bring it back to the table at another time. And that'll give me the opportunity to look and see, okay, so look at this, because he's got all of this stuff wrote down. And it's like, okay, it gives me the opportunity to look this plan over, and most often I'm okay with it. It's like, you got it, we making it work. I've never hit the switch and the lights didn't come on. Never turned on the water and the water didn't come on. Now, if you're in that type of situation, you got to work together.
True.
Working together means so much. So don't kick him to the curb. Don't throw him out. Pray about a lot of stuff. And I think it'll work out.
And, you know, you go through seasons on this journey.
True.
Especially in finances. You have a mate, a loved one, a spouse, and they in a season where they might not be making the kind of money that maybe they used to make or they desire to make. Don't give up on that person. Don't put them down. Don't belittle them or talk to them like they less, because now all of a sudden you the breadwinner.
Right.
And that man still hold the position of head of the house. So give him that respect, give him that honor. Build him up. Even though he may be going through a season where things don't seem to be working out. When you encourage him, that motivates him to want to do more, motivates him to go and excel and to be the man that the house needs. So always lift your man up. And likewise, husband, love your spouse. You know, even when you don't always agree, always let love be the leading force.
Yes,
behind
definitely.
all the things that you do. So when you come together, you talk, you can come to an agreement, you can come to a solution that would be a benefit to everyone. Hope that was a benefit to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Tracey D. Armstrong with What's Your Mess? How we doing, y'all?
Hey.